we had the same group of kids. So when there was a break and hang out, we had people our own age to talk to and hang out with, like a real school, like a real town. So we didn't have that weird thing of I'm in a bubble with a bunch of 40-year-old actors. We had other children to talk to, which I think is one of the many reasons why people from Little House are a little healthier upstairs than some of the other child actors. We were also held to a very high standard. We had to work very hard. We were absolutely expected to turn in a performance at the same level as the grown-ups working there and go to school at the same time. And so there was fooling around, but then there was no fooling around. It was like, okay, now it's time to let's go here. And you had to know your business. You had to really work. So, and then we were treated with respect for it. We were like, no, these young people are actors, and we were treated with respect. And I think that, combined with the work ethic and the fact that we had other children to talk to, really made it a saner experience than a lot of child actors get.
Now, was everything shot on some sort of back lot, or was there a specific location that you guys did you guys go to a location that was consistent, or how was that aspect of it handled?
Kind of both, because we obviously had the indoor and the outdoor scenes. The indoor stuff, the studio. So for the first few years, we were at Paramount Studios in Hollywood, and we had like 2 whole sound stages with all this, the Little House and the Mercantile and all our sets. And then, fourth year, I want to say, third, fourth, we moved to MGM, way out in Culver City, it's now Sony, and that's where they filmed The Wizard of Oz and all those old ones. We're like, wow, we're at MGM, and they actually put us on stage 15 where they had filmed The Wizard of Oz. So we're very proud of that. And the great thing was, it was a huge, this thing was so big. We had everything that had taken 2 whole sound stages were on 1 sound stage, plus the whole makeup and hair department, plus Michael's gym, and like all our dressing rooms. They shoved things that had taken up 2 sound stages and half a parking lot were all in one building. So that was fun. We'd have to go out in the rain. And we found out that, yes, it was where they shot The Wizard of Oz. And one day they were ripping something up, repairing something, and they lifted up like layers of linoleum. Because, in Hollywood, they just build over things. They pulled up the linoleum. There's the yellow brick road in the floor. There it is. And so Melissa and I are like, click your heels. We're going to Oz. So we filmed it, but for the outdoor scenes, because obviously we're outdoors, what they did is they rented a chunk of land out in Simi Valley, California, a place called Big Sky Ranch. And if you go online, Big Sky Ranch, I swear, everything films there, very famous. Everybody, so many movies and TV shows shoot there. In fact, sometimes I'll watch old Westerns and it's like Audie Murphy, and it's like they're in Simi. It's like, that's the Little House set. So they took it and they built a whole town. Now, they were all empty shells. There was like nothing in them, but they built a schoolhouse and a little house and everything. They're just kind of empty. The Mercantile and Nellie's Hotel, because we had such big windows, they would put a little bit like set dressing, indoor stuff. But pretty much they built these complete exteriors, and then we had the complete interiors. And then once a year, we'd all get on a plane, and we'd either go to Sonora, which is in Northern California, gorgeous area. Because remember, Laura ran away from home and suddenly climbed a mountain and met Ernest Borgnine. And there are no mountains in Minnesota. I don't know how she did that. But so we went to Sonora, where there's a mountain. There's the camp out where we're in the river, all that kind of stuff. We went to Sonora. And then we would go to Arizona for the desert, anything involving Indian tribes and hot air balloons and things. Yeah. We'd go out we went out to this marvelous place in Tucson in Arizona. So we had 2 field trips that we would sort of like make once a year out to those locations.
So here you're the chief antagonist in the show for 7 years. Was there ever a point in those seasons where you didn't want to be Nellie anymore, or in other words, did it ever become tiresome, or was you just happy you were still working, or was it so explosive that it made it consistently exciting to the end?
Well, there was obviously, even as a kid, you're an actor in Hollywood. It's like, oh, good, I have a job. And one of the things also was really cool because I was a teenager. And in retrospect, it's like, woo, dodged a bullet. I'm so lucky. A lot of child actors, as my father explained, don't work as teenagers because once you become a teenager, heaven forbid your voice changes early or you grow, because most child actors are really short. A lot of the guys are kind of short. if you, like many teenagers at, 14 or 15, grow to be tall, you become a young man and you're tall, you're out of work, pal, because they can hire an 18-year-old to play 17, 16,
Yeah.
even 15. They get a short 18-year-old who looks kind of baby-faced. He can play 14. They don't have to end at 8 hours. They don't have to hire the teacher. They don't lose him for the 3 hours school a day. They have a regular adult actor. They can do whatever the heck they want. His mom doesn't need to drive him there. And he can work overtime. And there's no teacher. And he can play 14, 15, 16, 17. So not going to go higher. Unless, as a 16-year-old, you look young, so you can play parts that might be too hard for a 14-year-old or something, or you're a huge star, you are going to have a heck of a time working at 15, 16, 17. Unless you're really amazing, they're going to go get an 18-year-old. So that's the tough period, is to try to find something that you're locked in, you're covered for that period. So I got hired at 12, the beginning of the quote awkward age, and stayed there till I was 19 and over age. And from an actor or agent or manager, a showbiz perspective, that is like winning the lottery. That is like, whew, because everybody else suddenly became horrendously unemployed at like 16. And there I was full time. So that was really, really cool. The other was, I liked the part. There usually was something new and interesting. Sometimes it got a little dull. If they said, well, there's not much. She has to do 7 out of 13 episodes. We don't have anything. So we'll just have her kind of be in this episode and like pop in briefly. I'm like, oh, come on, guys. Why? And I get bored. And when I got older, when I got nice when I got married, which was awesome. The first year was very clever because it was a sudden change and, oh, she's nice. But then they didn't kind of know what to do. So by like the very last year, I'm like coming in going, hey, more coffee? You want some lamb stew? Because now I'm nice. I'm not going to throw a plate at anybody. So then it's like, well, now what do we do with her? Now she's just another lovely housewife person on the show. So it's like, And I thought, okay, no, this is a problem because now I'll get bored. I liked when I threw plates at people. So when they said, okay, well, 7 years is up. Do you want to sign on for another several years, or do you want to go do something else with your life? I kind of went, I think I maybe want to. I was like, can you pay me more money? No. Can I have more shows? No. Could you make me mean again? I was like, well, so I wound up, that's when I took off and started doing like a lot of theater and stand-up because it wasn't as exciting. When I was yelling and screaming and throwing stuff, that was a job. I'd hang out for that.
And it's obvious to anyone who's followed you personally and from your time with us on the show so far, how sweet and genuine and heartfelt a person you are. How are you able to channel that kind of evilness of Nellie for so long? Where did you draw that from?
I was doing it 2 weeks ago too in North Carolina. People, God, when I did the play, I said, if you hated me then, come see me at the Judson and hate me again on stage. I was just vile, Mrs. Boyd. If you're familiar with Agatha Christie, she often has these little old lady characters, these awful people. I had done And Then There Were None, and played the old English lady who's awful and just remorseless and dreadful. And everyone's like, ugh. And so they're like, do you want to come and play Mrs. Boyd? And I go, isn't that the mean old English lady who's totally remorseless and terrible and dies in Act 1? And they went, yeah. I said, isn't that what I did last time? They're like, yeah, technically, but so I said, I'll do it. So I play these terrible characters. It's kind of fun. It's, as an actor, it's like talking about the shadow side or the dark side, playing those things. But when I was younger, it really was a place to vent all your tension and angst and hostility. When you're a teenager, you don't want to be told what to do. Well, if you're an actor and you're on a TV show, you're getting told what to do kind of all the time. So here's a character. It's like, no, I don't want to be told what to do. And you're just spitting and snarling and flinging things at people and yelling no and stomping around. Like, okay. And when you're a kid, so many of the actor parts were they were like overly sweet. Like a lot of the child actor characters, kind of like, yes, mother. Like, okay, nobody's that nice. And so here I was like, no, mother. That's really freeing. It's really fun. I have really great blood pressure. My heart rate and blood pressure, I'm just like, zen. I let it all out.
In a way, I guess it's kind of a release. I mean, and I can see how that could be true. I mean, it's kind of a safe way to act on certain negative impulses, get them out of your system. And at the same point, a great way to learn why we shouldn't act on those negative impulses, because you get to see the ramifications in a safe manner. No?
There is an old saying, nothing is so instructive as a bad example. And there are people who literally have sat and watched Little House, shown the episode of their children, said, don't do that. Absolutely. I actually met a guy, very nice man, from Colombia, and he said his brother was a priest at a church in Colombia. He said his whole family was hooked on Little House since they were kids. And his brother at the Sunday school lessons would talk about, do you want to be like Laura? Do you want to be like Nellie? And talking about like the right way to do things. And it was also great because for kids who were bullied, Laura showed she's, like, here is this girl who's giving her a hard time, and how does she, so excellent example.